Good morning, afternoon, and evening, and everything in between. I'm the Canadian, back with another N-scale model review. Today we're going to be looking at a locomotive from the Atlas Masterline Gold Series. It is a DCC with sound-equipped locomotive. And it's also one of my newest locomotives that I received. When did I get it? Oh, if you remember, a few months back, I did that bunch of videos within 3 days of road trip I did to a train show. Well, after that train show, I decided to take a trip down island and go visit a hobby store called BC Shaver and Hobbies. Or is it BC Hobby and Shaver? It's in Victoria. And I purchased this locomotive from there, from their new store. And when I first got it, I actually didn't know it had sound. I knew it was DCC, but I didn't know it had sound until I programmed it, and all of a sudden it started making sounds. But this locomotive being featured today is the Atlas Masterline Gold Series GP40-2W. W meaning wide cab for Canadian National in the zebra stripe scheme. And this is a very nice locomotive. Not many companies do the Gold CN Canadian wide cabs. Which are different from normal wide cabs. This is the Canadian variant with the 4 windows and the more angled but boxy looking front end. These kind of cabs were featured on locomotives such as the Dash 840 CWM, SD40s, Dash 2Ws, and C44-9s, mainly for Canadian National and BC Rail, as well as these GP40s. And I believe some MLW locomotives had them as well. Unfortunately, I don't have, and in fact, I don't know if anyone makes any of the MLWs in N-scale, but if they are, I might pick one up. This locomotive here, the GP40, being from the Masterline, it is more detailed than the others. Also equipped with an ESU V5 lock sound decoder. It's installed in the top here. And the speaker is located, as you just pull that off, right here, in the fuel tank. And the sounds are actually quite nice on this locomotive. I am quite impressed with that for the size. So we'll get right into it. Lighting today is not the best, but we will make do. So looking at the locomotive first, we'll start at the trucks this time. The trucks are the Blumberg trucks, nicely detailed, if you can see them here. That's the best I can do here for both front and back. There is detail on the fuel tanks. Oh, there you go. I can see. You have the filler hatches and the gauges there as well. Moving up, we do have a nicely painted yellow safety stripe along the bottom of the walkway here, with the handrails on top of it. The handrails are plastic throughout the locomotive. And we do have some markings as well. As well as, let me see this here. As well as a small white F marking at the front here, meaning forward. Locomotives do have this F marking either at the front or at the rear to indicate which side is lead forward. In this case, it is short hood lead forward. I have one locomotive, Kato RS2, which has the F on the back, meaning it is a rear or long hood lead forward. Continuing on with this locomotive, you do have the handrails at the front here marked in white for safety on both ends as well as the back. You do have the number here, 9655, picked out nicely, as well as a unit number here, GF430CL. I don't actually know what that means. Moving up here, you do have the battery boxes here picked out quite nicely, and the windows do have a silver trim. Moving a little back here, you do have the snow hatches here over the dynamic, or not dynamic, this area here, covering the vents. And then looking at the deco here, the zebra stripes here are the off-white that they were. They're not a pure white, as a lot of people seem to think, as what I used to think. They're actually kind of like an off grayish white. And that is replicated here quite nicely. As well as the orange as well is true to a CN orange. Moving back, you'll notice this is smooth here and not slightly flanged like a normal dynamic brake fan, because this is a non-dynamic brake unit, so there's no dynamic brakes in this, so it's not really going to be doing much hill climbing. Moving to the back here, you do have the radiator fans here. Focus. Focus. There we go. Detailed quite nicely, and the door detail too is quite nice. And then up top here, you do have these 3 fans. Moving to the back here, the back is in CN orange. And you do have the single rear headlight. One thing I should mention as well is, even though this is an EMD, this is also known as a GMD. GMD units were mainly in Canada, and you'll notice that with Canadian Pacific and Canadian National GPs and SDs. Most of them will be a GMD SD40-2 or SD40 or GMD GP40, so on and so forth. The main difference between those and an EMD would be the lighting, or in CN's case, the cab. The Canadian units have a single rear headlight and then nose-mounted headlights, whereas EMD had the dual rear light and the cab-mounted lights. And then in CN's case, the wide cab. Though I do believe some GMD units for CN had a Spartan cab. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. Anyway, back to the back here. You do have the sand filler hatch. That's a separate piece up top. And then marker lights picked out with a black outline. You do have the number right in the center here, 9655, with the CN noodle crossing the center line as well. Again, you see the white safety rails and the railing here, as well as the fold down deck here, and that yellow safety line continuing along the back. And then the rear pilot does have the CN stripes there. Being an Atlas, the couplers are the Accumate couplers. They're a nice coupler. Some slightly stubborn with some couplers. I know if you're running Kato couplers on a lot of equipment, mainly Kato units, it will be stubborn with these. So going to the other side here, it's pretty much the same as the previous. Difference is you do have a fire extinguisher storage on this side, the brake wheel in the back, and you have a shorter step guard here. Same markings on the front here, 9655 with the GF unit mark there. And looking at the front, you can see again the wide cab with the 4 windows with a black painted outline. Oops, I should actually have that in the camera. And focus. Focus. There we go. Up top you do have the horn and the bell mounted on the cab with the lighted number boards on each side. And then picked out, I don't know if you can see this, it does have classification lights here, non-operational. It does have green, yellow, and red on both sides. Looking at the detail on the nose here, focus. There we go. You do have CN red or CN orange separately applied grab irons here with black sand filler hatches on each side. And of course the top of the nose is black for the anti-glare. Going further down the nose here, you do have the nose mounted headlights. Focus. There we go. As well as the, wow, my camera does not like focusing today. With the door, windowless door on the conductor side. This unit does feature front end ditch lights. And then it does have the pilot with the stripe on the front. There is no plow on this unit. And then looking at top here, you can see a lot more of the top detail. The non-dynamic brake fan hatch there with the exhaust, the 3 fans, with a Sinclair antenna molded in there. Then yeah, the bottom, nothing much going on the bottom there. It does have some detail in the fuel tank there. So that has been the aesthetics look of the GP40. Let's take the field trip over to the layout and we'll get her running. Make sure all turnouts are straight. And I will show you the functions on this unit. So I will be using my NCE power cab for this. That's the only DCC system I have. Right now I do have number 486, which is that RS2 in the back I was mentioning before. But that is not the one that will be running for this video. Please hold as I position this. Okay, so 9655. Okay. So start off with function 1 is the bell. 2 is the horn. 3 is the coupler. I don't know what 4 is. 5 does the number boards, which you will see as it comes around. 6 is the ditch lights. 7 is wheel squeal, which you will slightly hear when it gets going. And 8 is startup. Oh, and then the headlight button does the headlight. So let's get moving. There's the camera up here. So I'm on speed step 5 right now, which is the speed step I normally use this. Occasionally I'll go up to 7. Coming up to the crossing here. And if you can hear a little bit, you can hear a bit of the wheel squeal going on in the back there. So I'll bring her down to a stop. And bring her back. And you can see that rear headlight there. Bring her up to number 7. I'll just stop her just past this turnout here. And I'll just bring her up to 5. Let's bring her into the wood chip plant here. I'll just attach her to a wood chip car there. She's a very, very smooth runner right out of the box. And I'll just bring her back. So this has been the video review of the Atlas Masterline Gold Series GP40-2W. If you like this video, click on that like button. If you want to see more, you can subscribe to the channel for a lot more N-Scale and Transformers reviews if you're into that as well. I also have my Instagram page, the Canadian A, link in the description. You can check that page out, show that some love. Oop, didn't stick. And that pretty much completes the video. And I'll see you in the next one.